one of the things that I want to just share with all of you is that, somebody actually was asking, there's a lot of people asking questions in the chat box before we actually got rolling here, and I was just kind of responding to some of the questions, and, I don't know who it was, but somebody asked, does this really make money? And my response was, oh, yes, and the reason I say that is this, the only reason you're going to take a Saturday, Saturday morning, well, it's early Saturday morning here in Orlando, Florida, but, depending on where you're at around the globe, it's the morning here. So the only time, reason you're going to take time out to be here is because you honestly want to make money, right? Maybe you're currently a trader, maybe you're just investigating this market, but without further ado, I'm going to tell you that we only have about 45 minutes together today. It's really not a lot of time. I normally like to teach in a, with a 2-hour time slot, so, condensing everything to 45 minutes is really going to be, I'm going to have to talk a little bit fast, but, first thing I have to share with all of you is that, trading does have its own form of risk involved. So you should never invest money that you cannot, afford to lose, and you always want to trade with equity management in mind. There is no such thing as an undefeated season, and you may incur losses from time to time, but, the key is to really keep your profits high and have minimal losses. And once again, we'll talk a little bit about that when we do, in fact, get to the live market piece. Now, moving along, I just want to kind of, once again, thank you for the introduction. I'm assuming he gave one, but, real quickly, I don't know if, if y'all heard this or know this, but I went to University of Central Florida, got accepted into several law schools. My choice was University of Miami School of Law. You can't take me away from the beach. I love the beach and surfing and, warm weather. But anyways, basically, long story short, I did what the system of life tells you to do. Go to school, study hard, get good grades, and hey, best of luck to you, right? And so I did all that. I bought into it, and it's not a bad thing, but, I quickly found myself in my 20s. I looked good and smelled good, but I was broke. The bank on the car, the bank on, where I was living. I was just barely getting by. And, I remember my buddy invited me on a surf trip, and that's when I realized, my gosh, I have limited funds. And that's when I realized if I don't do something different, I'm going to basically struggle. And I don't know, how many of you can relate with me? Type in Y for yes if you can, relate with me in any way, shape, or form. I mean, maybe for you it's not, surfing, maybe it's just retirement or getting out of debt or travel, but, you're here for a reason, and that's one of the things that's important to identify. But I have been coaching and mentoring for, quite some time now, and I absolutely love what I do. And first thing I want to do also before I pull up the charts is just kind of give you all a little bit of an idea as far as who we are. Who is MTI? What do they actually do? Well, MTI stands for Market Traders Institute. It's an education company. They are the largest and the oldest Forex trading institute on the planet, and they have been in existence since April of 1994. So we are, like I said, we've been around for over 21 years now, approaching 22 pretty rapidly, over 30,000 students and clients, and that's longevity. We are not a fan of gimmicks whatsoever, and I want you to know that MTI was built by an actual trader for traders. And if you take a look, once again, at one of the things I want to share with all of you is this, that we pulled some data, for 2015, and the average Forex trader, they claim that they're only about 33% profitable, and that's fairly dismal if you ask me. But like I said, we didn't make this up. This is from data collected every quarter by brokers via survey. Well, MTI did the same exact thing, but for all of our students, and the actual difference is that one quarter, all right, MTI students were 85% more likely to profit than the average trader out there, and the last quarter, believe it or not, last year, 2015, but the last quarter, the fourth quarter, if you will, they were 103% more profitable. So once again, I don't know what that means to you, but the proof is in the numbers. And what that's going to lead me to now is just letting you know that not only does MTI have some of the absolute best strategies, but they also have some of the absolute best expert Forex instructors and analysts in the Forex industry. One specific instructor that I'm going to make note of right now, his name is Josh Martinez, and he's known around the globe as the FX Pathfinder. And he has been, literally trading this market, folks, for many, many years. But some of the things that I want to let you know, and for those of you wondering, why the heck am I telling you about Josh? I'll fill you in just a moment. But real quickly, he's one of our, one of MTI's product experts. He's trained thousands and thousands of Forex investors. He has turned an initial deposit investment of $500 US, generated over $39,000 of profit. He's made thousands of Forex investments, published author, international speaker, pro analyst, and a full-time trader. Now, that was a mouthful. Why am I telling you this? Because he's created a strategy that I'm going to actually be sharing with you today. He's personally taught me this strategy, literally face-to-face in his office. We've covered it multiple times, and it's one of my favorites, all right? And I'm going to tell you that this strategy has really allowed him and even myself to do some pretty unbelievable things. Now, I want to just show you this real quick, and I'm going to pull up the charts. But for example, back in June 5th of 2011, he opened up a trading account with just $500 US. All right, what this gave him the ability to do was to trade with a micro position. Now, when he first started trading, maybe like many of you, he was only making around $2 to $5 per trade. All right, losing $2 to $5 per trade. How many of you can relate with that? Type in a yes if you can relate with that in any way, shape, or form. You know, making money, losing money. You know, maybe not too big, right? Some of you probably maybe have blown up some accounts, but it's normal, right? But when he started going to the education that Market Traders Institute offers, he started noticing patterns in the market. Now, if we fast forward, all right, you'll see that he was able to take time compounding and build residual income. And as I mentioned before, when he was able to put more money in, he certainly did. And this is what allowed him. He stuck with it, okay? He didn't give up or quit when he had a loss. This is what allowed him to really kind of see, daily returns of up to $4,000 and $5,000 per day in profits. And you know, he even withdrew $10,000 one time when we linked back up. We actually went to high school together, which is pretty funny. We didn't talk for 9 years, and I thought he was a personal trainer. Honestly, I knew he was married and everything, but I was like, I thought he was still doing personal training. And then he shows up and he has this like Rolex, or sorry, not Rolex, a Breitling watch, and this like $60,000 F-150. And I'm like, what are you doing nowadays? He's like, I trade the Forex, and I'm like, literally, I go, what is the Forex? And here I am teaching you, which is pretty funny. But anyways, let me ask you all a question for real. Type in a Y for yes if you would honestly like to learn this skill. How many of you would like to be in this point or be in this position where, yeah, you might start off with having a trading account that looks like his, that looks like mine did, right? But eventually have it turn into what you're looking at right now. Once again, it's just a little progression. Now, I'm going to pull up my charts next, but I want to show you one last thing here, okay? And I want you to take a look at this track record. This is third-party verified. You'll notice that he has a gain, right, of 4,548%, or 0.82%, sorry there, okay, to the T, return on his initial deposit investment. Now, if you take a look at the bottom of the graph, at the bottom of the screen, you'll notice the graph of his growth. This is my favorite thing to show you, okay, is because it literally shows this is what the average trader's account looks like, okay, and this is what they want it to look like. But you'll notice, he's making money, losing money, and he did this for what? Over a year, he was just playing around with the market, right? He didn't really take it seriously. But what you'll notice is that in September of 2012, you'll notice that the things absolutely just kind of spiked and took off. We call this a tipping point. And what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to show you this exact strategy that's really been able to assist Josh and myself in finding our tipping points, to assist you in finding your tipping points faster, all right? So let's go ahead and pull up the charts. If everybody can please give me a Y for yes when you see my charts up on your screen to make sure that I'm not just demonstrating to myself here. Thank you. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate your kind words, buddy. So I do what I do. So anyways, so first thing I want you all to write down, okay? I want you all to write down these 6 pairs. All right, you'll notice that, so that's the very first thing I want you to do. So you'll notice that we have the pound Aussie, we have the pound Canadian, the Great British Pound Swiss franc, the pound Japanese yen, the pound New Zealand, and the pound US, okay? So once again, write those 6 pairs down. And the next thing I want to tell you is this, folks. When it comes to this market, so many people out there, they sit there and they think, my gosh, is this really something I can do? And a lot of you in the room, one of the things I normally ask early on, which I didn't ask yet, which I want to find out is this. How many of you in the room, type in a Y for yes or the word me in the chat box, please. If you're currently a Forex trader, or maybe you're not a Forex trader, maybe you're trading another market, but you definitely have an interest in the Forex market. All right, and if you say no, it's not going to offend me, all right? But I just want to kind of get an idea of who we have in the room that currently is, or you have a interest. Okay, so I see a lot of you are saying yes. You're either currently trading it, you have an interest, and then some of you are saying no, which is fine. All right, you're probably ready for me to take as the next speaker. But with that being said, all right. So once again, y'all wrote these down. So the first thing I want to let you all know is this. I'm going to go ahead and I just want to simply pull up the let's just go with the pound CAD. All right. So what I have up on the screen, this is the pound Canadian. And one of the first things I want you all to know, the neat thing about the Forex market is that the Forex market will basically, will do the same thing over and over and over again, usually during the same areas, usually during the same time frames. And the reason I tell you that is because, anybody that trades any market can basically, tell you that, look, the market's going to move in a wave-like pattern. What goes up must come down. What goes down must come up. And if you take a look here, all right, you'll notice, once again, if you look at the, from a distance, you'll notice that what? You'll see that obviously the market, okay, was forming lows. You'll see that. Then it looks like the market might be forming highs. But once again, if you look at it a little bit closer, you'll see that it's forming lows and highs on a shorter amount of time. Now, one of the things that I want to let you know, okay, one of the great things about the Forex market compared to other markets, and listen, I'm not putting any other market down, but if you want to buy the market, you just buy it. Okay, if you want to sell the market, you just sell it. That's really, there's not many options. You either only buy or sell. So understand that you have a 50-50 chance of being right or being wrong just by simply guessing, right? How many of you understand that? And so how many of you agree that if you add a decent strategy to the mix, right, the percentages are going to fall highly in your favor? Now, let's see, okay, I pull up the pound CAD. So once again, as I zoom in, here's what I want to do. I want to just kind of explain the strategy to you, because what we're doing essentially is we're going after the daily highs and lows early on in the morning. And what we're going to do is you got to understand that the market will create, and I'm not going to spend an hour, I don't have an hour, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time explaining why the markets do what they do at the time they do it. But understand that the market's going to do, let me just go ahead and draw this out for you on a blank part of the chart so it's a little bit easier to understand. And then I'll go ahead and we'll apply it to the actual market itself, all right? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go ahead and just kind of map this out for you, all right? And I'll explain to you what I'm actually drawing here. All right, now, with that being said, here's what I want you to do. Okay? For those of you taking notes, I definitely want you to write this down. In the market, folks, the market's going to form two highs and lows. Now, depending on who you ask, they're going to say more or less. But once again, I'm just talking about two main highs or lows. So I'm going to type out high and low there. All right, and then we're going to do the same thing up top, high and low. Now, all right. So with that being said, here's the thing. One of the things that the market's going to do, one of the areas the market's going to provide us with is the market will provide us with a high and or a low within a 24-hour period. All right, and you're going to especially be able to see this especially on a 1-hour time frame, which is what we have up. All these charts are on a 1-hour time frame. Now, understand this: the market will form its first high or low, and that will be typically between the hours of, all right, if you're taking notes, definitely want you to write this down, 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. All right, 2 a.m. and 5. If you're wondering what, I'm just going to put here Eastern time. Okay, so once again, now the second high or low of the day, that will typically form. All right, once again, between the hours of 8 a.m. and 2 p.m. Now, with that being said, here's what I want all of you to kind of understand. Well, let me ask you first of all. Type in a Y for yes if you agree with me that the first high or low of the day, that between a 3-hour gap, will be much easier to find than the second high or low of the day. How many of you believe that the first high or low is going to be much easier to find, especially the markets, everything's it's early in the morning. And, obviously that plays a lot into the mix. But once again, a 3-hour gap is going to be a lot easier than a 6-hour gap. Now, so what we're going to do is we are going to focus in, all right, we're going to be focusing in on the first high or low of the day, okay? So once again, I'm just kind of teaching you the strategy before we actually take a deep dive into things, all right? So I'll just put a little circle right there. Now, the next thing I want you to do is I want you to write this down. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be focusing in, all right, on the candle, right? Now, which candle we're going to actually be focusing in on? Well, understand this, that with the market, all right, with what the market does in the market movement, we're going to be focusing on the 3 a.m. candle, all right? So once again, yes, the first high or low forms anywhere between 2 and 5, but we're going to be focusing in on the 3 a.m. candle, so we give the market about an hour to kind of shape up and do what it needs to do. Now, the next thing I want you all to understand is this, that the market, and this is very important to understand, is that the distance covered between the low and the high, or the high and the low of the day, that is known as the average daily trading range. Okay, and you can abbreviate that as ADT. But once again, I'm just going to write it out: average daily trading range. Now, understand that the average daily trading range, right? That could be anywhere between 50 pips, and I'll talk about what a pip is here in a second. But 50 pips and 200 pips, just depending on, really just depending on market fluctuation. But that's what you can expect within a single day. Now, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be focusing in on a minimum of 50 pips per trade. So once again, we could be capturing more than that, but once again, we're going to be going after a minimum of 50 pips. Fair? Good to go? Everyone with me so far? All right, let me explain one more thing, folks, and then what I'm going to do is go ahead and kind of shift gears, and we're going to kind of get right into the strategy at hand. But the one thing I want you all to know is this. A lot of you are probably wondering, well, look, how much money can we make in this market? And what I want you all to understand is this, that in this market, your ROI, your return on investment, will depend on which lot size you trade. So for example, in the Forex market, I want you to write these down if you're taking notes. There are 3 major lot sizes, okay, sizes traded. Let me go ahead and, there we go. All right, so once again, 3 major lot sizes traded in the Forex market, and depending on your investment, that will determine what your ROI will be. So let's get into the 3 real quick. The basic bare minimum smallest lot size you can trade is known as a micro lot. Now, a micro lot is a $20 investment, and 1 pip is worth 10 cents. Okay, there we go. The second lot size available to you, this is known as a mini lot. A mini lot is a $200 investment, and 1 pip is worth $1. Okay, and then finally, you have the largest lot size available to you, that is known as a standard position, a standard lot. A standard lot is a $2,000 investment, all right, and 1 pip is worth $10. Now, what we do in this market, the beauty about it, the reason me, I was a broke college kid, okay, there's no shame in that, that's where I was at. How can somebody like me, how can people out there trade the market and actually make it worth their while? Well, here's how. Because we trade with something known as leverage. And it's as silly as it might seem for me to talk about this, a lot of people aren't aware of what that is, but in simple terms, what it is it's buying power. All right, and this is what allows us to make some pretty big returns. Now, here in the US, for example, we trade with a 50-to-1 leverage. Now, if you're trading a mini lot, okay, I'm not going to type this out, but just pay attention to this. If we're trading a mini lot controls $10,000 worth of currency, all right, because of the leverage. If you're trading a standard lot controls $100,000 of currency because of the leverage, once again, all right? So let's move on. So if you're taking notes, finish up. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of shift gears. But I just kind of recap real quick. We're going to be focusing on the first high or low of the day between 2 and 5. We're going to be focusing on the 3 a.m. candle. We're going to be going after a minimum of 50 pips per trade we place, which we could be going after more, but no less than 50. And I'm going to be basically demonstrating as if we're trading with a standard position. All right, I like to show it with the end goal in mind, and that's that. All right, so everybody good? Type in a yes if that kind of helped you out, made some sense, and is everybody good? All right, good stuff. Awesome. And all right, I see some of the questions y'all are asking me. I'm gonna answer a lot of those, by the way, once I get into the strategy. But I do want to just go ahead and kind of clean everything up, and just get some clean charts going. All right. So first thing I'm going to do, all right, you'll notice that if I click on the current candle right now, all right, you'll notice that that's obviously, I want to say live market, right? But it's as live as we can get, because you'll notice that candle, right? It was from yesterday at 4 p.m. Now, as I go ahead and kind of back this up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to backtrack to the 3 a.m. candle. So let's just backtrack to the 3 a.m. candle once again. So all we're going to do is kind of backtrack here, and okay, now I want you to take a look right here. Does everybody notice? Type in a Y for yes if you do in fact see how this is the 3 a.m. candle. All right, does everyone see this right here, 3 a.m. candle, right? All right, now before I go ahead and show you what I'm going to show you, here's what I want everyone to understand. If I go ahead and just kind of show you this downtrend, all right, and I can even back it up even more, but do me a favor, does everybody see how, for instance, if you take a look at the candle to the left-hand side of the screen, you'll notice that's a 3 a.m. candle, right? Notice how it creates a directional push up towards the north. If I keep moving here, all right, let's just kind of keep moving the market and find the next 3 a.m., what do you notice? There's the next 3 a.m. candle. Notice the market creates a directional push down towards the south once again, all right? And the reason I'm showing this to you folks is because I want you to understand that at 3 a.m., the market will move in a bearish or a bullish direction, and it will basically create some major market movement. For example, here's another 3 a.m., right, on the 16th, and same thing, right? It went up, it created a directional push up towards the north before it retraced and it went back down and basically headed back down, all right, and headed bearish. So what I'm going to do is as I go ahead and kind of demonstrate this, let me just show you one more, and I'll go with, okay, I'm going to start here real quick, all right? So back this up. Now, first thing I want you all to do, all right, I want you to take a look right here. You notice that we are on, do this, all right, are we at the 3 a.m. candle, yes or no? Does everybody see that? 3 a.m. Now, so once again, first thing you're going to do once you identify the 3 a.m. candle is this, is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set myself up. Now, the first thing we're going to do, all right, is we are going to go ahead and set ourselves up with an entry buy and an entry sell. Now, if you're not sure what that means, just follow along, and we'll go ahead. I'll explain it in a little bit more detail. Let me look at the time, see how we're doing here. Okay, cool, doing good on time. Now, and by the way, hey, I just wanted to ask Will and Travis, if you guys can, the moderators, if y'all can just give me a heads up in big cap letters. Hey, you have like 10 minutes left. Can you all just give me a heads up and that'd be great, okay? So let's go ahead and do this once again. So first thing I'm going to do is we're going to place an entry buy. We're going to place that plus 10 pips above the high. Now, what you'll notice is this, okay? If I go ahead and grab my ruler tool and I measure from this, take a look at this candlestick wick high. If I measure it up 10 pips, I want you all to look at the top left-hand side of the screen, all right? Does everybody notice the 4 lines of information that appear? The first line is the date, time, and price that in which you would have entered in. The second line is the date, time, price section that you would have got out, all right? Then you have the third line says range with pips in parentheses. It says 10 to 10.1. And then the fourth line is how many bars have moved. So once again, that's how you know we're up basically 10 pips. So what we're going to do is we're going to place this 10 pips above the high, all right? And let's just move this up. All right, so what you'll notice is that I just got done moving this 10 pips above the high, all right? And so I forgot what, somebody just asked me a pretty good question, and I'm going to definitely answer that here in just a moment, okay? So that's that. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and place an entry cell. Now, let me go ahead and change that, all right? And I'm going to go ahead and make that green as well. So once again, the entry cell is going to be minus 5 pips below the candle wick low, all right? So once again, we're going to drop this down 5 pips, and that's going to take us to right here. Now, before I move on, here's what I want all of you to understand. This line up here, okay, this is known as our, once again, this is known as our market buy. So I'm going to just go ahead, and and a lot of you are probably wondering, well, you know what? Sorry, I said market buy, but a lot of you are wondering, are we getting in buying or selling? No, we're not. All right, and I accidentally said market buy, but what this really is our entry buy, okay? So once again, our entry buy is plus 10 pips above the high, and then this down here is going to be what you call our entry sell. And by the way, I just want you all to know that our entry buy and entry sell will never change. It will be like this every single time for every 3 a.m. candle, okay? So minus 5 pips below the low. Now, next thing I want you to understand is this. Understand that we're not buying or selling yet, okay? We are just simply in the market. What we're actually waiting for is we're waiting for the market, all right, to actually cross one of these zones. So if the market hits my entry buy, I'm going to buy. If it hits my entry sell, I'm going to sell. Now, as I advance the market forward, let me ask you all a question. Did the market cross into my entry buy or my entry sell? All right, good stuff, right? It crossed into my entry buy. So what I'm going to do, and just to kind of simplify things, we'll just kind of place an orange arrow right there to just signify our 3 a.m. candle. All right, so once again, we're in the entry buy. So the first thing I'm going to do, okay, for those of you that maybe already know this or maybe you don't, but once I go ahead and identify, okay, we're going to buy the market, I'm going to go ahead and next thing is this. I'm going to delete my entry sell, okay? So my entry sell is going to go away, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and place my stop. Now, if you don't know what a stop is, understand that a stop is designed to protect you. Now, here's the thing. If you're buying the market, okay, where does the stop go? If you're gonna buy the market, all right, you're gonna put your stop at the 3 a.m. wick low. Okay, so not 5 pips below, just at the 3 a.m. wick low. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'll just put out here. I'll just type out the stop. Once again, is at the 3 a.m. wick low. Okay. Now, here's the next thing. Once we go ahead and we have our stop, we know we're gonna look to buy the market. Here's the next thing I'm gonna do. All right, remember how I told you we're going after a minimum of 50 pips? Well, here's the very first thing I'm going to do is once I have this set up, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to measure what my risk is. So let me ask you all a question. Who can tell me how many pips am I risking? Right? From right there to my stop, how many of you can type in how many pips am I risking on this? And hey, Petrus, for anyone asking really good questions, you know, some of you are asking, look, you know, why 10 pips above and why 5 pips below? You know, let me just show this to you, and if I have some more time, I'm going to talk about the details and the thought process behind it. All right, but let me just get through this first because I don't want to leave anything out, but I appreciate the question. I just wanted to acknowledge that, okay? All right, so we're looking at 54 pips risk, right? So if we're going after a 54 pip risk, here's what I want you to understand. We're going after 54 pips. So we're going to go after whatever our risk is. Now, if our risk is less than 50, okay, we're going to go after a minimum 50, but if our risk is greater than 50, we're going to go after whatever our risk is. So I'm going to measure up 54 pips, all right, and that's going to bring me to 1.96280. All right, so 96280. Let's grab this and place that right there. All right, so once again, folks, what I'm doing right now is simply placing my limit. And so what I want you to understand, folks, is that this is now set plus 54 pips limit. All right, so that is my limit. That is how many pips I'm going after. Okay. Now, next thing, once I go ahead and have this all set up, watch this. I'm now going to change this. My entry buy is now going to actually be my market buy. All right, it is officially become a market buy. And here's the thing. Once we decide to buy the market, folks, watch this. That's it. You've set yourself up. You're now going to continue to live your life, do your thing, and all you're going to wait for is the market to take its course. Now, did the market, okay, rally up, and did it fulfill our target of 54 pips, yes or no? And by the way, let me ask you, how much time did it take? Is it safe to say that it took 1, 2, 3 hours, okay, 3 hours to fulfill? It actually really took 2 hours, but do y'all see where I'm going with this? So once again, it actually went higher than that, but let's just stick with our limit. So we're up 54 pips, all right, 54 pips, or $540 US profit at a standard lot, all right? And by the way, that was in, let's just leave that in 3 hours. Now, question all of you. For those of you, you're either trading the Forex, you have an interest in Forex, how many of you would be pretty excited about this? If you were able to take advantage of the market early on in the morning, some of you might think, my gosh, it's just so early. I don't know if I really want to wake up that early. Would you wake up that early to place a trade, go back to bed? You could even wake up 9, 10 o'clock and just kind of see what happened, right? Because your stop's set, your limit's set, and that's the deal. Now, next thing I'm going to do, because I could get into the pound count again, but let me just pull up another example. But real quick, let me ask you all a question. How many of you are with me so far? Type in a Y for yes if you're with me so far. All right, yeah. Chill out. That's awesome, bud. Okay, thanks for sharing that. All right, so the next thing, let's just go with the pound Japanese yen. All right, now I'm looking at the time, and let me see. All right, hey Gerald, we'll provide you with everything, buddy. I'll talk about it in just a second. But hey, Travis, can you tell me how much more time I have, buddy? Just in minutes. That'd be great. All right, just kind of gauge what I'm showing and what I'm doing. Okay. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do, let's just go back to the 3 a.m. candle. So obviously we're going to go back to the last 3 a.m. candle that we have, and let's see what that takes us to. All right, so take a look right here. Ready? I'm going to back this up. Now question all of you, because this is actually, I'm glad that I pulled this one up, because this is a pretty good example as far as what you're going to do when you're selling. All right, now watch this. Once again, okay, I'm going to go through this one fairly quickly, but I'm going to kind of, okay. All right, thanks, Travis. Appreciate that, buddy. All right, so next thing, watch this. 3 a.m. candle, yes or no? Yep, there it is. So what I'm going to do, what do you think I'm going to do? First thing I'm going to do once I have the 3 a.m. candle is I'm going to set up my entry buy and my entry sell. Now my entry buy, once again, okay, is going to be plus 10 pips above. All right, so that's going to be right there. And my entry sell is going to be minus 5 pips below. Let me go ahead and grab this tool right here. All right, so once again, everything's set up. We're going to drop this down 5 pips, and that will take us to right there. All right, now, next thing I'm going to do, and let me just go ahead and make sure this is exactly on point. All right, perfect. Now, once again, okay, I'm going to type this out one last time. All right, but how many of you are starting to kind of understand? Did y'all write this down the first time? The entry buy is nothing more than plus 10 pips above the high. And once again, this is nothing more than the entry sell. And this is what? This is minus 5 pips. All right, there we go, minus 5 pips below the low. Now, once I have this set up, what do you think I'm going to do? Remember, I'm going to wait for the market to take its course. Now, what did the market do? The market decided to, okay, because remember, we weren't buying or selling. They were nothing more than pending orders, okay? The market decided to what? The market decided to cross down into my sell zone. So that's going to be my indicator, my signal right there to sell the market, all right, just like that. So what am I going to do? First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to delete my entry buy. We're going to set up our stop. Now, I want you to pay attention to this, okay? Remember, this is our 3 a.m. candle. Well, when we decide to sell the market, all right, when we're selling, we are going to place our stop, all right, once again, 5 pips above the 3 a.m. high, okay? So once again, when we bought, we placed our stop at the 3 a.m. wick low, but this time when we're selling, we're going to place it plus 5 pips above the 3 a.m. wick high. So let's just bring this up 5 pips. That's going to lead me to right there. So once again, we'll change this color to red, and boom. All right. So once again, we have our stop set up. Now, next thing. All right. Once we have that, I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna leave it just like that. All right. That's our stop, plus 5 pips above. Now, next thing, okay, is we need to figure out and determine how many pips are we going after, right? Well, what did I tell you before, right? If our risk is less, okay, I'll repeat it again. if our risk is anything less than 50, we're going to go after minimum 50. But if our risk is greater than 50, we're going to go after 50. So question: how many pips away, okay, am I risking? How many pips am I risking? Who can jot that down for me? All right, so we're looking at 68 pips, right? So my target's going to be at 68 pips away. So let's drop this down to 68 pips away, and I want you to take a look. That's going to bring me to, all right there at 84,113. Bring this down here. All right. So once again, let's go ahead and change that color. All right. So right there. All right. Now, once I go ahead and have this all set up, folks, once again, I want you to take a look at what I'm about to do. All right. Our entry sell, right? It's no longer just a pending order. It's now an actual market sell. And what am I going to do? I'm off to the races. I'm living my life, doing my thing, waiting for the market to take its course. Now, as the market continues to move, let me ask you, did the market fulfill your target, yes or no? All right, did the market continue to drop? Yes. Yes, Jacqueline, this is an hourly chart, correct. All right, so once again, folks, what did the market do? The market dropped. And here's my question to all of you. How many of you are starting to get the hang of this? You know, how many of you are starting to catch on to what I'm doing and showing you? And if you take a look, check this out. All right, remember we're up 68 pips. All right, and how long did that take? Well, we're up 68 pips, and that took 6 hours. Okay, it's a little bit longer, but not bad. So plus 68 pips, or $680 profit in, excuse me, in 6 hours. And remember, that's as if we're trading with a standard position. Now, real quickly, I'm looking at the time. All right, I got about. Okay, hey Travis, can you give me a 10-minute signal, buddy? Like a 10-minute warning? I think I just hit it, but I just want to make sure. All right. Now, with that being said, here's the thing. Okay, I'm going to just quickly pull up. Let me just pull up another one. Somebody was mentioning the pound New Zealand earlier, so let me just pull up the pound New Zealand. I want you to take a look at this. Is everybody okay if I go a little bit faster? Yes or no? All right. Is everybody okay with this? With it? If I go a little bit quicker? All right. Yes, Mark. If I understand your question correctly, that is correct. Okay. Now take a look. All right, all I'm going to do is this. I'm going to advance the market forward. You'll notice that this is the last 3 a.m. candle that we had. Okay, so once again, 3 a.m., let me ask you a question. As I advance the market forward, here's all I want to ask you, okay? Because I'm not going to get into all the details like I did before because we're running out of time. But if I place this 10 pips above the high, all right, which is going to be right here, and I place this, and let me just go ahead and increase that, all right? And then if I go ahead and do the same thing, except this time, I'm going to place the entry sell minus 5 pips below. All right, question to all of you. Is this a winner or not? Who can tell me right now, did we end up winning this, yes or no? Did the market end up crossing into my entry sell? Right, it did. Okay, the market crossed into my entry sell right there, and we decided to sell the market. So once again, I'm not going to measure, you know, exactly how many pips, but at the minimum, we're going after 50, right? So is it safe to say, folks, that we captured our 50 pips? Y'all see that? So at a minimum, we know we captured our 50 pips on that. So once again, that would have been plus 50 pips, and same thing, you're looking at $500 US profit, and that one, you know, that would have been in 4 to 5 hours. So let's just put 5 hours. Okay. Now here's the thing. I could literally do this all day long. All right. But I'm running out of time, and I gotta move on. You're right, Mark. No, we did not get stopped out. Now, understand this. Please don't confuse this with me telling you you're never gonna lose. If anyone tells you you're never gonna lose, they're lying to you. Okay? But there's strategy around it. There's ways to have proper equity management. Unfortunately, in such a little time, there's just so much you can cover. But I wanted you to understand the strategy here. And just yesterday alone, all right? Yesterday alone, did we capture? All right. And let me just add this up real quick, and I'm gonna move on. But yesterday alone, is it safe to say that we captured 500 at the least, plus 540, okay, plus 680? Did we capture $1,720 profit at a standard lot? I didn't talk about broker fees or spreads or anything. That really depends on the broker. But y'all with me on this? And listen, I'm going to tell you right now that there was 2 others that were winners yesterday, and there was one that was losing. Okay, so even if you placed all your trades and this is where you ended up, how many of you feel that, you know what? Would you be pretty excited about that, right? And so with that being said, I have to keep moving, folks. And I'm looking at the time here. All right, thanks for the heads up, Travis. And so as we move along, folks, here's what I want you to know. That, you know, personally, performance matters. I mean, so many people can talk a big game and talk about all these things, but I truly believe that, you know what, results are the name of the game. And just to kind of show you, what I'm going to do is I could show you all these different student results, but what I want to do personally is pull something up. And all right, so what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to pull this up. Does everybody type in a yes if you see right here our Market Traders Institute page? Y'all see that? All right, good stuff. And I normally don't do this, especially with such little time. But hey, Travis, do me a favor, buddy. Can you just type in the time when the time I have to wrap up so I can keep an eye on it? Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tell you, we all have pages as analysts and traders. Now I want to show you Josh's, and I want to show you real quickly. He's one of our professional traders. I already told you a little bit about him, but I want to go ahead and go to visitor post, and I just want you to take a look at something. And like I said, I don't have a whole lot of time, so I can't spend too much time on this. But as I go through this, here's the thing. All right, these are all students. Okay, Leroy, odd CAD, and then he says 700 pips. All right, and once again, yeah, these are not all London breakout. There are multiple strategies, but a lot of these are involved with the London breakout. Okay, because you're not just going to learn London breakout, by the way. You're going to learn multiple things. And once again, folks, as I go through this, the biggest thing that I want you to kind of take away is look at the background. Laura Phipps, once again, I captured 275 pips this week. It's $2,700 dollars at a standard lot. So it's not as much as most of your students, but consider this: it's my highest ever, and I don't dare do but one currency at a time. As we keep going here, folks, once again, I could do this all day long, all right? But obviously, I got to keep going. And then take a look at Ken. He says, "Hey, Josh." Then he says, 242 pips. So once again, I'll say it again, this is not all London breakout. These are all multiple strategies. But here's Marina, 470 pips, all right? Or Charles, 179 pips. Notice these are all within the same day, right? Or at least these are all within just a few days of each other. Here's Trish with 432 pips, all right? And so as I bring this to a close, folks, here's the thing. Type in a Y for yes, and I know I have to move fast. That's the unfortunate thing about only having 45 minutes, is that you can't answer everyone's question, and there's certain things that some people are just like adamant about learning and that you just didn't have time to cover. But how many of you, type in a yes if you find value, even though it's fast, in what I showed you? How many of you, believe that, look, you know what, this is something I can learn, this is something I can do, and I'm going to tell you right now, folks, that I want you just to imagine, having the opportunity to plug into one of our sessions, and not only that, it's not just one session, but what I want to show you, folks, is once again, I could show you stats and results, and just there's thousands of dollars that have been generated and really predicted and captured. But as we move along, here's the thing I want to tell you, all right? And let me just keep an eye on the time here. All right, good. Travis, I believe I have 8 pairs. That's funny. I have 8 minutes, correct? Can you just confirm that for me? And no, John, this does not work on all pairs. It might, but I personally only focus in. Okay, thanks for the heads up. I see that, all right? Yeah, I personally trade that strategy, folks, on personally on those 6 pound crosses that I showed you. All right, those are the 6 crosses I use it with personally, and there's reasoning behind it. We're going to teach you why, and the thought process behind it, and why we focus on those pairs. But as we move along, folks, here's the thing. All right, I could show you success after success after success, but what I'm going to tell you, right now is this, because I want to go back to the charts if I have some time. But here's the thing. I want to help everybody in this webinar by doing something that we normally don't do. We haven't done this in a very, very long time. But for those of you that want me to talk about the details of the sessions we're going to be able to plug you into, I will talk about the session and what it's comprised of here in just a second. But for those of you that are saying, look, all right, this is great, I definitely want to plug in and learn, here's what I'm going to tell you. For what I'm about to show you, all right, normally it's $297 to be involved. It's for, basically, it's for a 30-day time. That's how much typically is a month, where you're literally mimicking our trades, following our professionals, and all that. But we want you to find the value. And so for those of you that want to get involved in what we're going to be showing you, we're going to allow you to actually lock and load, get involved today for just 27 bucks. That's it. All right, as much as it costs for a lunch for 2, and that's going to be for your first 30 days of membership. And if you're still wondering, well, what exactly are we going to be getting, I'm going to show you next. But once again, for those of you that are just ready to click on the link and you'll be able to actually kind of get a first-hand view of what this is all about, I'm going to go ahead and click the link, and I'm going to send it over to all of you. So can everybody please give me a Y for yes in the chat box if you do in fact see the link, and please let me know that it does work. All right, I just blasted it to everybody. So once again, if you see it, please type in yes. If you can click it, please let me know if you see the promotional there. Okay, you're not committing to 6 months or a year. It's a month at a time. So listen, if you feel it's not for you, folks, no big deal. And here's the thing. Ready? All right, here's what I'm going to tell you. For 27 bucks, here's the funny thing. For just 27 bucks, we're going to actually give you 30-day money-back satisfaction guarantee. So if for whatever reason within your first 30 days you feel it's not for you, even day 29, we'll give you your every penny back, all right? 27 bucks. So once again, let me get into the details of what this is. I'm doing really good on time. I got about 5 more minutes. So basically, what we're going to give you is we're going to give you 8 live market online Forex sessions per month, all right, within a 30-day period with 2 of MTI's best analysts, okay? They're all the best, right? But once again, in these sessions, folks, they're online sessions, of course. You're going to be able to learn directly from them. You're going to understand how to avoid making costly mistakes. You're going to basically copy them. You're going to mimic their trades. You're going to do what they're showing you. They're going to teach you. Now, is there more than the London breakout? Absolutely. I wish I had time to cover every strategy you're going to learn, but if you think you're just going to learn London breakout, you're going to learn multiple things, and you're going to be able to pick their brain. And listen, these are like 2 4-hour sessions. And so once again, some of them are 2 hours, some of them are 4 hours. You have plenty of time to ask questions, get every little detail you need. Now, you're also going to get one Forex market preview video each week as well. So you will gain exclusive access to the market analysis that they do on a weekly basis and the possible scenarios that they're looking at. Okay, so what are they looking to trade? What are they looking at for the week? And what opportunities are going to be presenting themselves? You'll know all of that, all right? It will include an email reminder as well and a preview video and all that. Now, those of you might be wondering, well, my gosh, what if I can't attend, or what if I miss it, or maybe I'm in the office or something? Listen, each of the sessions will be recorded, so even if you can't attend live, don't worry. You'll be able to come back on at night, get the information, extract the knowledge, and go to town, all right? But once again, you will have access to everything. And here's the thing, just for getting involved today, we're going to give all of you 4 bonuses, all right? Here's 4 bonuses we're going to give you. Yes, for 27 bucks, you're getting all 4 of these. Bonus number 1 is 30 days free of MTI's VIP Analyst On Demand service. This is where you literally go into an exclusive client-only portal, and every day you're going to have our professionals telling you exactly what to trade. Every day they're laying out the currencies they're trading, telling you where to get in, where to get out, all right, every day, all day, and how many pips you can expect to make. So it's basically they're telling you what to do on a silver platter. But once again, even if you're a demo trader, how many of you feel, you know what, for 27 bucks, it's of value even if you apply everything in a demo account for 27 bucks to get a first-hand glimpse of what it could be like when you go live. Bonus number 2 is an introductory, course, if you will, to currency trading. It's 4 Forex lessons by MTI, all right? And then number 3 is a profit plan consultation call, all right? And then bonus number 4 is 10 Keys to Successful Forex Trading ebook by Jared Martinez, all right? Now, once again, that alone is worth 27 bucks, but you're going to get all of this, all the sessions, all the bonuses, everything. And like I said, you're going to have a 20 or a 30-day money-back guarantee. So it's really a zero-risk opportunity. Now, let me see the time. All right, I'm doing good. I got about 3 more minutes. Do me a favor. Type in a Y for yes if you are moving forward with this. Type in a Y for yes if you find value in what I'm showing you. And unfortunately, in 45 minutes, there's only so much I could talk about and cover. That's why I'm talking very, very quickly. I didn't answer every question, and I apologize, okay? But once again, that's the deal. That's what we're going to be doing for y'all today. So at this time, if you're moving forward, I didn't see who typed it in. Type in a Y for yes or the word me. If you know what, you're moving forward, you're going to take advantage of this for like I said, for 30 days. Get a first-hand view of it, get a first-hand glimpse at it, and just take a look at what it's honestly going to be able to do for you. Now, real quick, let me just go ahead and pull this up. I'm going to actually bring this up just to show you what you should be seeing. So once again, when you click the link, folks, you're going to see this is exactly what you should see. You're going to go exactly to this link. And once again, everything I covered, by the way, is going to be broken down to you in detail. See all this? It's all broken down for you, bullet point and bullet point. So it's not just like, rush through it one time. Go to the link. You'll be able to get everything in a nice, calm atmosphere, read it all. And once again, just 27 bucks. And so once that's the deal, and you'll have, you'll be able to access everything. Sorry, somebody was not on mute there. But anyways, so let's see. And by the way, yes, okay, thank you, Steven. I didn't bring that up, and I'm so glad you did. I meant to mention that. He's asking basically how much is it every month thereafter. Every month thereafter, it's not $297. It's going to be just going to be $147 every month thereafter. Okay. But listen, you are not committing to the second month. You're not committing to the third month. You're committing to the first 30 days for 27 bucks. That's it. All right. So guys, I'm basically done. I got about 1 more minute before I have to pass controls back over. So at this time, let me congratulate the following individuals that are making the decision to move on and take action on this and good stuff. So Jennerine, congratulations. Jack, Ulrich, congratulations. Doan, congratulations. And also, no, Jahan, yeah, it's just, okay, hey, Jahan, if it's, yeah, it might just be 87 if they changed it. But guys, I have to wrap this up. And so once again, congratulations to everybody taking action, moving on. Definitely I'm glad you find the value in it, and I'm going to resend the link one more time, but I have to pass controls over. I am right on time, okay? So once again, thank you all for your time. Congratulations to everybody moving on, and I'm sending the link out one last time, and I'll be hanging back on the chat. If anybody wants to ask me questions or anything, I'll be more than happy to answer it, all right? And yeah, Steven, yeah, okay, so it's my fault. It's $87 every month thereafter, not $147, all right? But it's just $27 for your first, all right? Thanks, guys. Sent you the link. I'll be on standby to chat with y'all, and that's it. Thanks, guys. Appreciate your time.